Hi, so today we're going to talk about Toddle. We've been having so much fun behind the scenes, and we can't wait to show you how Toddle works. So here you go.
Amazing. Hi, everyone. Great. We're off to an excellent start, aren't we? Cool. So we're just gonna show everyone how Toddle works.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
going to share my screen and then we'll build a couple of things.
yeah.
We're gonna make something super easy. So just for everyone to see like how Toddle works. If you wanted to build something more advanced, I'm absolutely the wrong guy. But it's just to show you that like it is actually incredibly easy. A marketer
Maybe
like
you want to
me,
zoom in a little bit because you have such a big
definitely.
monitor. And
Is this much better?
yes, this is how my screen looks. What, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more.
Here we go.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Excellent. But yeah, basically then you get to see like what a marketer can build. I've close to no coding experience. I know a little bit of CSS and HTML, but that's kind of it. And this session should just give you a good idea of what you could do within Toddle. So this is the editor that you see here. And every time I'm clicking on an element, kind of highlights out in the left-hand side where you have like the element tree.
I
I'm going
always
to take,
say your editor is like if you compare Webflow to Framer, yours is Framer.
ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, we have a lot of hardcore Webflow fans here, so I don't know how nice they see it to be. But I'm saying if you compare Webflow, you have a million options, and in Framer you have a few, but you can do all the million things with a few. This is how the Toddle editor is, right? It doesn't give you all the options, even though you can do it still in the custom CSS stuff and all of that. So you're not getting overwhelmed with a million little settings and knobs and all of that.
we'll take it. I think either of those two options are incredible for building websites. There's nothing like it. I do prefer Webflow a little bit just because it's a little faster.
Yes.
But I think what Framer's doing on the design front is excellent. Like the ability to be able to see the different canvases side by side, where you see the breakpoints. I actually love that. But anyways, we're gonna take you through. I'm clicking the elements out here in the left-hand element tree. I just click backspace to delete, just because I want a blank canvas. And that's what I get here. So what we're going to build or attempt to build is essentially just like a testimonial, so a statement that you could put on your website, and then we're going to put in a logo of whoever did that testimonial, and then we're going to play around with a variable to show like, okay, what happens if you hover over with this mouse, we'll have the image change, which is a very basic thing. Normally you would do that with like a style. So like on hover, you change the color, but here we're going to change the image. So it should take you through a bit. So what I'm going to do in the beginning is I'm going to click E. You can also click this plus sign up here to get elements out, but I'm going to do an E, and then I'm going to do a heading. Let's do a heading 1. And then I get a heading inside here. It's in the very middle. You can see that it's not very legible. So what we're going to do is we're going to just change this to a white color so we can actually read it. I like, for quotes, the font weight 300 if I'm using enter. And let's do 3 REM. Then it's like nice and big when we look at it. All right.
It almost
What?
looks like a Toddle website.
Yeah, almost right. It's actually we use 40 pixels and 80 pixels on a bigger screen or a larger breakpoint, if you were curious. But in here, I'm going to click the text element. I could also just double click in and write. But sometimes I actually prefer just going up here because sometimes it can be a little buggy. But what should we write in here? What's a good quote?
Um, I tried it and love it. Or I don't think we have the space for that though.
Didn't. I'm gonna do this
Ah,
here. And then we do like that. Tried it, didn't love it.
you have
So
two
this,
times love. So this is a really strong
oh,
statement.
love, 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 love. Here. No, tried it. And then we did loved it. Let's do that. So here we have essentially the header. What we're going to do now is we're going to insert an image below that. These are the people who said it. So we're going to do, let's put in just another div. I like doing that just because then I can control it a bit more. And then I put an image inside of this div. And every time I add something, I just click E. So that's why it goes a little fast. But this image here is a standard image. We want to make sure that we change it a little bit. I'm going to move minimize my head here. There you go. Be good. And then click attributes. And then in attributes, you can upload an image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find here's a TechCrunch logo. And I want the WebP version because it loads a lot faster. And at Toddle, if there's one thing we are speed maniacs. We actually obsess about speed and want to make everything a lot faster. So we try to optimize where we can. This image is very large and we don't want a very large image. So there's a couple of ways that we can adjust it. We can set a width of, let's say, 100. We want it to be a small logo. We could also set it directly on the image. But in general, I love to style with divs. It just makes everything a lot easier. So here we have a headline. We have the logo. They're a bit too close together for my liking. So what I'm going to do is
say you need a gap.
yeah, right. So I'm going to click the div up here, and then I'm going to go out here on the right-hand side, the styling panel, click, and then I'm going to add a gap. What is let's just do a 32.
One rem.
One rem?
You do pixels?
Oh, it's a bad habit. I really shouldn't.
Ah.
Hey, I'm not the coder. I'm the marketing guy.
You still have to have pixel perfect or rem perfect sites.
That is true. That is true. Maybe I should just go with rem. But here actually let's do does this work? Yeah.
Oh,
but
that's tiny.
5 or 8. 7. Let's do 7. So now we've got the logo, we've got a little bit of padding. Actually, I'd love a bit more, so I'm going to do 2 rem. And then we have the padding. It looks great. It also looks like, okay, that could be on a page somewhere. So what we want to do now is we want to, when we hover over, I'm just going to go into test mode, click T or this play button down here. And then you can see the website and you can interact with it. Right now, we don't have anything, so nothing happens, right? So I'm going to click T again to go out of test mode. And what we want to do is we want to show an image on hover. And one of the things that we need first is we need a variable. And the variable that we want to create should be just, let's do show.
A variable is like, just for the people who don't know what a variable is, a variable is like a way how you can store event data, like you can manage state on a website. For example, if you have an image, right, and you want the image to be hidden, you can have the variable of false, and then you can tie the image to be hidden if the variable is false. And if the variable changes to true, then you can tie the image to be visible. So the variables are like data points, how you can influence the behavior of your site and then make it a web app. And because it's hard to say, oh, just hide that image, you tie the image to the variable, and then you say variable be false. And this is how you can then interact with logic, JavaScript, to then make things visible or not.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're going to do now. So we have a variable called show. We wanted to tie it to an image. So one of the things that we want to do is in this div here, I'm going to add another image. And we want that image to be the one that we, that is.
Can we add the Toddle logo?
Yeah, sure. Then I'd need to find the Toddle logo. One second.
You don't have it on your computer. You work for Toddle.
Yeah, I know, but I have so many. I'm one of those people that download all the time, and then I have 400 images. And what I do is I put it into an old folder, and then eventually it ends up in the trash bin. But
Yeah, I
let
just
me
delete
see.
them immediately. So
Let me see if I might have something here. Let's use
that we'll
this
just
one.
put in a photo of Andreas.
We can we can use this one.
Here you go. Here
So
you go.
this
That
will
works.
this should be all right, right?
Yeah,
So
it works.
now we have a Toddle logo and we have TechCrunch logo. And we don't
Here you go.
want to see the Toddle logo initially. We only want to see that when we hover in. So what we are going to do is we're going to click this image, and then we can right click out here in the element tree and create a show hide.
You can
And
also
what
go
we're
that you can also go to attributes to do that.
Yes, you can. But in this case, we're just gonna do a we can add this like variable to it, and this variable should actually be false. So I'm gonna go in and do that now. I'm gonna change that. But right now we have the variable default state is true. Now I'm making it false, meaning
And
that it will not be visible in here. And then what we're going to do, what we're going to play around with is we're going to put an event on this one. So we say like on, or we're going to do it on actually the whole thing. So on the div here, we're going to say add an event up here in the right-hand corner. And then we're going to do mouse and mouse over. So when we go mouse over, we will say, okay, we will set show to, instead of false, we're going to set it to true. And then we should be able to do this. So right now, when I move my mouse out, it still stays. But right now it shows. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to go into this div here, and I'm going to go down to mouse again and say mouse out. And then we're going to set this show variable to false again, because then when I'm moving my mouse out, it becomes false. So here, whoop, up, 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 up. And we can do exactly the same with the TechCrunch image.
you just do it in
Meaning
reverse.
we do it in reverse. Exactly. So we do a, let's do this. So show hide. We're going to do this set to, I think we can just do this, right? Boom. And then we go in and we say on the event here, we can go in and we can say on mouse over. We're actually, how do I do this? Here.
So you can just go if you go to the image, you just go to the show and you just do not, right? You go to the show and you turn into a difference, right? If you go to the again, if you
show
go
and
to
then
show
mouse.
and then make it not.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
And
There
then you
we
just
go.
do the same thing for the other thing, and then you just have it in reverse.
And then we have here.
Here is
we,
me telling Toddle employees how to use Toddle.
I mean, how great is that? But that's essentially like, Jesus, what did I do here? So here, there we go. There we go.
There you
So
go.
now on mouse in or mouse over, it is the opposite, and mouse out, it is. So every time I go in, so that's essentially how you create these like small things. There's a bunch of other things that you can create in here. Let's say, for example, you wanted to add a, what should we add? Video?
Editor.js.
Editor.js. I love it. So here's a like small pre-built package that you can put in. So you can add in. There's a rich text editor that you can play around with. But let's see what happened when we have that. We go back to the homepage, and then we click on the div, And then there is a new component in here which didn't exist before. And then you can just click it, and then you get editor.js. Have you played with this package actually?
Of course, it's a very cool package. Like I made a video how to do that in Wiz, and it took a long time to do it. And in Toddle, it's just a click and you have it in there.
It's amazing. It's so cool.
Look at that. You can actually turn this now into a Toddle component and then export the component and then put it into your Webflow site without having to do all the customizations otherwise that you would have to do with the SDK and, playing around with the JavaScript. You can do that no code in Toddle and then export the web component from Toddle to your site to ship things faster. So you can get things done on a Friday too without causing a whole IT outage over the weekend.
It's pretty amazing. Like it's the first time I played around with it, it was pretty incredible. Like right now I'm gonna just wrap this because you can't export things as a component on the top level, but like what you could do is you can essentially just add wrap in element, and then you put in a div, and then all of a sudden if you put all of the things in to that div, you then just click the div, right click, and then extract as a component.
And this is very powerful because you can add that component anywhere. You can add it into Wiz, you can add it into Webflow, you can add it into Framer, you can add it on WordPress, you can add it on Joomla or whatever.
It's you can add it literally anywhere. So you can see
you want to add it somewhere?
Webflow. What, sorry?
You want to add it somewhere?
If you want.
Let's add it somewhere.
Here, let me do this. Let me just see if I can go back here.
You may want to add actually a dark background. You know what? Because I may add it on something white.
Here, let me.
We won't see it otherwise.
Let me ping it to you, so you have it there, and then you can take it over.
Did you? Okay. Okay.
And I will.
Where did it go? Oh, Discord, or where did you send it?
Oh, I just sent it on Discord. Sorry.
I didn't got it yet on Discord.
Did you want a black background?
Yeah, do a black background.
Okay.
You wanna add rounded corners so it looks pretty?
Yeah, always. So let me just do a short border radius, and then it is your way. Wait, did it not go into your Discord?
It didn't go through on Discord. You want to send it in the Zoom chat? I don't know what's going on with Discord.
1 second. Let me do that.
Oh, now something happened on Discord. Okay, I think I got it on Discord.
It had to travel all the way to California.
Here you go. It was on the ship. So let's see. Let's try something around. So I got the component. Why don't I now start sharing my screen and we'll take it from there.
Should.
Yeah, look at that. So, do you see my screen?
In a second. Now I can. Woo!
Okay. So this is actually something that I use Toddle components for because I'm building right now my community. And if something about me, I'm a little bit lazy. I don't want to build everything of this in Toddle, and I'm sorry, I'm talking with Toddle here, but I don't want to build this in Toddle because, there is something called Circle that already has it built. They spent all the money to build this. So, but I want custom functionality in my community platform. Yeah, I want people to put their website in here and do the settings and, add their paths and click on here and generate code for Cloudflare Worker. But Circle doesn't, it can't build that in Circle. But I can build that in Toddle and import that into Circle. This is what I did here, but now let's do the same thing for the testimonial. So how about I go here, and let's add a new post, and I do Toddle, and I'm going to go to settings, and I can go to HTML, and oops, that's my Cloudflare Worker code. Let's go back to our Zoom chat here.
It's a bit long.
It's a bit long. In Toddle, all the code is pretty short. So let's make it pretty. Let's add, first of all, a break. Look at that. Oh, / close. And now I'm going to add my Toddle component. Looks good, right? Everything okay? No errors?
That's great.
Okay, beautiful. Let's add that in here. Let's click on publish. And I have that in here. And what did you add in here?
Let me remove it. 1 second. Just we'll do
Add
something
some
fun here.
padding. Add
It's
some
the
padding.
editor JS. Let me just
Oh,
remove
it's
it.
editor.
Try to update now.
I don't know. I don't know what happened here.
It's just the editor JS package.
Let me reload. Let me reload.
If you reload, then it should be gone.
Can we add
Boom.
some padding?
Yeah. How much padding do you want?
Let's do 5 rem top and bottom.
5 rem top and bottom. 1 second. Here. Let me just
You can build
play.
your own SDKs in Toddle because you can also shoot. Let's make this dynamic so it's like an SDK. Look at that. Look at that. I want to be able to customize the heading. You show your screen and you tell us how to do this.
I think you need Andreas on the next call.
We'll do it together. Okay, we'll do
So
it.
what do you want? What do you want?
Show your screen again. Show your screen again, and
let's do it here. Let's go. Why is it not? Let me just do this. Actually, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Great. Excellent.
Beautiful. So how about we go to your component and we add attributes to your component?
Yeah, sure. Let's what kind of attributes do you want?
Let's call this title.
Title.
Yeah, keep the value. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And now let's close this. And can we go to your heading, your H1? And we set the text. No. Let's go. You got to click into it 2 times so you can edit the text.
You want to?
Yeah. Let's go in the formula and let's map
go.
this with the title. Here you go. And now let's look at how this works when we export this component now. So can we look at how to export it? Because I think we need to add. Yeah, we need to add the. Can you copy that and send me that in the Zoom chat?
Yeah. 1 second. Here you go. And then, oops, let me just stop sharing here so I can get you
let
back.
me start sharing, and then we'll add it in there.
This is so fun. Here you go.
I just got it in the Zoom chat. Let's copy this. Here you go. And let's update this. Let's make this dynamic.
Oh, yeah. So it added an attribute that you can then modify.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Look at that. So I'm going to go here. Okay, and now it says value. I can change this to just fine. Okay, and I'm going to go on done. I'm going to go on save. And when it updates and I reload, let's see, it should say just fine.
Amazing.
And now if you put this into Wiz territory, it updates immediately. So that means that you can connect this, if you want to use still Wiz, you can connect this with variables. And so you have an easier way to work with that. Or if you want to include it in another framework, Toddle is not here to compete. You can also complete with it. That's the beautiful thing about Toddle. It's not just to compete, it's also to complete. So let's see how this works, because it works in real time. Let's go to my favorite website, htmlonlineviewer.net. This is where programmers go that don't know how to program. Let's put this in here, and we're going to see the component. But, if I update this value, and let's make it a little bit so we can see it. Here you go. When I update this to, and look at this. It's real time. As I update this in the component, so you can base this on a variable, it's going to update the content in the component as well. So think of it like this. If you need to build like a widget, let's say you are building the next type form. You can build the next type form and you can pass on customization parameters in your that your users can embed. And you can build something like Typeform. You can build something like Vimeo inside of Toddle. You're not just limited to building end user experiences where they have to go on your web app. You can build even embeddable technologies that other SaaS and other companies can use because they can do this. Yeah, you can build your next editor JS and sell it by the license. Think of it like this. People put their license key in here, and then you take this to make an API call, and every time that was loaded, you bill them a penny.
It's pretty amazing.
Isn't that cool? So that's what you can do in Toddle too with the components. That's actually how I think there is a lot of potential in doing that, and nobody in Toddle is really using that yet to make a lot of money out of it. Because you can build, if you're a domain expert, and say you are an expert at AI for customer service, you can build like your next intercom in Toddle. And you can just add like shop ID here, and then when they talk with the AI, you use it on the back end to then get their training sheet and all of that. And people can embed it, and then I think you can also make this your custom domain, so there is no trace of Toddle. So here you go.
It's pretty amazing. It's super fun, but that is essentially the goal with Toddle is like we wanted to make something that is flexible, as flexible and performant as any coding framework. And I think we're getting pretty close. There's still
I think we're very close.
some optimizations that we can do, but like you can literally build anything in Toddle. I can't, but I can build some things, and that's more than I can say for any other coding framework out there.
But I mean, if you can do it, everyone can do it.
Definitely. It's very true.
And I mean, think of it like this. And now you can also do mobile apps in Toddle.
Yep, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I can't wait to see the package come out. It'll be super
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, we have been affected by like the IT outage on the weekend. So because we used Azure, like from Microsoft Azure to
Yeah.
facilitate the Mac machines. So we didn't were affected because our machines are Macs, but we facilitate the Macs using Microsoft.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'm happy that I'm not in like IT security. At least this week, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. You can be happy this week.
Yeah. It's so crazy. But yeah, sad to hear that you're impacted, but I think what you're working on sounds extremely cool. And there's a lot of people who want to build and don't want the limitations. And that's kind of a great way to do it.
And the cool thing is, think of it like this: mobile SDKs are so expensive. Like if you want to add a video editor SDK, that's like 3,000. Some of them are like 3,000 a month. But the web-based SDKs, just build it in JavaScript.
It's pretty magical. It's pretty
And
magical.
they're cheaper, right? So you can also add now web SDKs into mobile apps, and there are still going to be native mobile apps together with Despia and Toddle. And there was enough advertising here, sorry.
But it's pretty crazy. And you submitted an app that you had built with Toddle.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Went well.
That's
Actually, awesome. Our tester app is built in Toddle.
No.
So, like Test Flight, where you can test your mobile apps. Now, the issue is every time we run the Mac machine, it costs a lot of money. So I was like thinking, how can I simulate people's mobile experience on their phone without having to send it to Test Flight? Because we pay money every time we send it to Test Flight. And if they're on a free plan, I don't want to pay money to send it to Test Flight because it's pretty expensive. Because we have to run a virtual Mac machine, and they're like 50 cents a minute sometimes. So I'm like, okay, a little bit expensive. So I built a tester app. So I built a mobile app in Toddle that is a tester app that just, manipulates and emulates the behavior of being the real mobile app that you built in Despia. And I built that in Toddle and some custom jailbreaking the Toddle thing. And it's working great, and it simulates, and you can click on there and your phone vibrates and do all of that stuff. Like you just send it to Test Flight, but you don't have to send it to Test Flight. Now, the only thing that doesn't work is if you rotate your phone like this, it doesn't move because we have some things hard coded. But once you're ready to pay for the plan, you can send it to Test Flight, and then you can test your rotate.
That's hilarious. Wait, so 50 cents a minute? Like Why?
Sometimes, because it costs money, like a building, because we have to rent Mac machines. Like sometimes it's 10 cents. It really depends on how complex and how many files there is. If it fails, like sometimes a build fails 3 times in a row to then be successful at the third time.
That's so crazy.
Sometimes an internet connection isn't good, or like sometimes it fails and then it works. So the 50 cents is like after 3 failed attempts.
I mean, it's not like sending rockets into space, but still, it's like
I mean, it's a little rocket like this.
yeah, a little tiny rocket.
I mean, but yeah, and Toddle helped us build a mobile app, and we used Despia and Toddle to build the tester app.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
and
amazing.
I'm actually also working on something where you can turn Toddle app mobile web apps, Toddle web apps, into desktop mobile into desktop apps.
That I'm excited to see.
So my idea is right now, think of it like this. I'm going to build an app called Toddle Companion. So you will have like a widget that is like your desktop app, like ChatGPT, that is an AI chatbot that you can open while you do things in Toddle that will write formulas for you that you can copy and paste from the companion into your Toddle project using Toddle and Despia web.
I love it. That's amazing.
And the cool thing is, since in Despia you can say the widget needs to be like 200 pixels, 300 pixels. You have like this little widget that you can resize that is like the ChatGPT app.
Very cool.
That's like your code assistant. And that's pretty cool. And I built that in Toddle too. Because the nice thing about Toddle is I don't know how you do it, but the animations are so smooth. You know what I mean? Like you
The
add a transition.
animations.
Yes,
Yeah.
like the transitions, they're so smooth. Like if I do that in Webflow with Webflow animation, it looks like
Yeah.
in
No,
Toddle, it's
it's
just like,
yeah. I think hopefully this will change very soon. Like that, there's a lot of stuff that Webflow has that we actually don't have, just because
right.
they've built a lot of it themselves. So they've built in
Yeah.
support, but it doesn't necessarily work across all browsers.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's extremely important to us is that we won't build something bespoke until there is browser support. So
Yeah.
like things like animations, there's a lot of browsers that don't support that yet.
Yes.
View transitions is coming very soon. So that's going to be super cool. But we would rather want the community to build packages if they need something bespoke. So if you're
And
building
that's the
something,
cool thing that you did in Toddle, and I think people may not be aware of it. In Toddle, it's not like, when are we going to get that feature? It's like, why don't you get your butt up and build that feature yourself?
exactly, and then you can share it with everyone else, and
Yeah.
everyone else can
And
benefit
I
from
always
it
say
if they did
Toddle
the
is so
same.
great. I always say Toddle is so great because I don't have to ask someone and say, can you please add this feature? I need that. I can just build it myself if I see the need and put it on a package and tell people in a YouTube video, download that package. I just built it. And Toddle kind of like opened up the way of their program that I can mess around with their code base a little bit. Everyone, you can too.
It's awesome. It's so much fun, and that like it's we just have this philosophy. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. So like if you want to just if you have, let's say, functionality that exists on npm, you can just pull
Yeah.
it in and then run that.
And it's so simple because you can just copy. This is my favorite feature. I just copy code that ChatGPT gave me and just paste it in the middle of the Toddle canvas, and that thing is there. I don't have to go HTML embed and piece it out together like in Webflow. You just do that all for me. I don't know how it works, but this is rocket science for me how you did that. That's amazing. I just go ChatGPT, make me an upload care file upload. I copy the code, smash it in there, got upload care.
It's magical. But maybe you can have Andreas on one day, and then he can actually walk you through it.
That would be great. I think like with Andreas, we have to build, we have to make a video where we are building the most complex Toddle app before Toddle.
Definitely do that.
No, no, no. We'll top it. We'll do the most complex Toddle mobile app.
That sounds cool. That sounds a lot of fun.
I think there's only one, so it won't. It
There's
won't.
actually there's quite a few. Like we did a video with a company that does like mobile app wrappers.
Right.
So there's at least one out there.
So here you go, but now with Despia, we'll be still the number one of the two that are out there. So
it's it's yeah, it's tough competition because like we made like a Tinder ripoff with like NoCode tools.
that's cool.
As it,
Swipe. I don't know where you have to swipe, but swipe the bad direction for for Bubble, and swipe the right direction for Toddle.
it should be nice. Bubble is actually a super cool tool. It's just built in a different time.
I think that's what it is. I think Bubble is a great tool in itself, but it's just not really up to time. That's why we have Toddle.
That is why you have Toddle.
That's amazing. And you know, we just built a Toddle component in how many minutes? Almost nothing. And it's working great and it's dynamic and you can do really cool stuff. And Toddle doesn't keep you in their ecosystem. You can just move the components out of it. Yeah. And you can combine it with so many different things. You can add it in WordPress. And the cool thing is I built so much utility tools in Toddle. I'm like, I just need an easy email sign up connecting to my API instead of figuring out how to do that in Webflow. I just built the component and move it to Webflow from Toddle.
That is exactly how to do it. So it's important for us. Like we're trying to build a programming language, and that should be interfacing with any app out there. So whether you want to put it into Webflow, Framer, what have you, you can do that. We encourage you to do that. So see Toddle as the tool that you go to when everything else fails.
I like that. That's why I went to you, but
we're happy you're here. Like it's super cool to see all the cool things that you're building, even though you're hacking left and right. Like that is
yes.
Programming is all about, isn't it? Like finding cool, new, creative ways of doing things.
Yeah, because I tried a lot with jQuery, a lot with Webflow, but I found, you know, I don't think it's the right thing to build super complex apps just in Webflow because it's built for landing pages. If you look on the Webflow website, you see it's the best way how you can build a landing page, but it's probably the second best way how you can build the most complicated AI, large language, machine learning, personal hairdresser assistant or whatever. Your best way to build that is then Toddle. Exactly. Or you build the widget in Toddle for the complex thing and then move it into Webflow and use Wiz to stitch it a little bit.
Exactly.
You can do that too.
So what we've done actually with another like a startup, it's like a startup school. They had a very large database of like female founders.
Yeah.
That they wanted to expose to VCs or venture capitalists, because they wanted to make sure that more female-founded companies got funding.
Yeah,
and that's not an equal playing field. So they wanted to create this database so everyone could like benefit from it, but they couldn't set this up in Webflow. But their whole entire website was built in Webflow, which it should continue to do because it is just the best tool for that. But then they built a web component, embedded it, and now they have a fully functioning database that it can be queried.
And if you already have your app, let's think of it like this. You have your web app built in Wiz. Don't move away from Wiz. Wiz is great at its use case. Wiz is great for simple web applications. But if you have this thing that you've been trying to add this file upload in Wiz and it's just not working, only build the component in Toddle, add your attributes in there to make it dynamic. We saw how you can do that, and then import it into Wiz because it fully integrates with Wiz. Toddle is not here to take away business from Wiz. Toddle is here to upsell the business of Wiz, kind of like.
Exactly. Just enable people to build more complex
Yeah,
stuff. And then
yeah,
use like whatever tool. And I think this is also like true in the coding world, right? You have a code base, and some of
yeah,
that code base is in different languages,
yeah,
different architectures. But
yeah.
then you embed certain pieces and you test out code, and then whatever works, you build more of. So it's just
Don't be
see
married to a tool. Use the tool
exactly.
that works for this specific challenge. You have a challenge, you get the expert for that challenge. It's like if you hire someone, you hire someone who is an expert at your job. So you hire Toddle to be great with web components, to be great with power, to be great with performance. Now you hire Webflow if you want for design, and you hire Whisk to make your design and Webflow work. Everyone has their role, everybody has their job, and they can work beautifully together. We saw that here. Just the only sad thing is that Webflow sadly doesn't have an HTML, a JavaScript code preview yet, right? It sees like script here, please go to live site. If they would add that, that would be the ultimate thing.
Hopefully one day they get there.
One
But I
day.
think it's, I mean, you can already preview a lot of this stuff
Yeah,
in the other platforms. So it should work well. But
beautiful.
it's cool. But yeah, no, I like it. Like, don't be a total developer. Just choose to be a developer and then choose the
Yes.
best tools for the jobs that you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. And if it happens to be that Toddle is the best one at making a file upload, just build a file upload in Toddle.
Correct.
You can have unlimited file uploads in Toddle, and you can put them all on your site. And you will never have to pay a day in your life anymore for upload care. And you can link
Amazing.
back to Wisp because you can then run. And actually, I tried this. You can call the Wisp JavaScript API inside of a Toddle component. So
Yeah.
think of it like this. Wisp can communicate to Toddle, but then can the Toddle component communicate with Wisp? Yes, you can run the JavaScript API in a custom action in Toddle to then update the variable that is on the Wisp page to then update this again and then to send the data to your database. Yeah, you can also set an HTML attribute and then use jQuery to read it if you want a little bit more codish way, but you can also go with the JavaScript API so that you have your original variables in there. Super cool, super powerful. You can also work with hidden input fields because it gets fully, because the web component is not an A-frame, it is fully accessible on the page.
Exactly. And I think that's the most powerful thing. Like you can actually work with the different things on the page instead of just being limited to that little square box that you've put in.
That's amazing. I mean, everybody should test Toddle and they should see where Toddle can benefit them. If it doesn't benefit, maybe one day it'll benefit you. I'm sure you have a good alternative already. But if you are stuck with something and instead of spending another 5 weeks trying to figure out how to make a file upload, you may just look into Toddle and may build the file upload in Toddle and import it to Webflow or import it into WeWeb or wherever you're building it on. Uh, Toddle is not saying, "Oh, we don't like those." It's like, "Yes, how can you we let you put this in there." And I think this is where it's very valuable. This is what I did with Circle because Circle failed me when it came to HTML. So I just used Toddle to do that. I mean, I think you could even use Toddle to make a Chrome extension.
You should theoretically be able to do that. I haven't seen one
Now
yet,
that's
but
my next
yes.
video. That's my next
Nice.
video.
Can you make a Chrome extension like a password? Or is it like a, what do they call a password manager that actually works?
I don't know
That
if
would
it will
be
be secure. I mean, all your passwords will be on my Xano database.
yeah. Actually, if you were impacted by CrowdStrike, then maybe not.
You know what? I'll make something for online banking.
yeah. That's yeah, no, make a cool Chrome extension. That would be super fun.
I
I'd love
want to
to
build
see that.
I want to build a Chrome extension where you can visually program, and then inside of VS Code, you have like the visual node editor. You can make the nodes, you can like Zapier, and then you click a button and it adds it into the VS Code editor as JavaScript.
Do it. That's fun.
And you can do that because you have like the web components, so you can put it in the extension and then it has access to the site and all of that. It's pretty cool.
And then you can work as a no coder, but say that you're a coder. I love it. It's cool.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why the YouTube channel is called NoCode Pro Code. Don't write code and claim that you know how to do it.
I love it. It's for me. It's for me.
You got early access.
Amazing. I love it.
It was so great. It's always great talking to you. Not just this time. It's always great talking to you. We always just laugh way too much.
Likewise. Thank you for doing this and for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate your time as well. And thank you to everyone who just watched us laugh for, I think, an hour or something. We did not drink anything before this interview. That we're just happy.
It's amazing. Oh, my head hurts. It's great. It was super fun.
That's great.
But I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with how far we made it with just.
I think we made it far. Yes, we made it far without laughing the whole time.
Amazing.
This is great. I think the heat is both coming too close to us, but thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And we'll just continue. We'll end it here, and then we'll laugh for another 30 minutes after behind the camera. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. You should be checking out Toddle. Let me know in the comments what you think about Toddle. And thank you so much. And bye-bye. You want to say bye-bye too? Yep, bye-bye.